Before I talk about sniper rifles, I need to talk about a game system that I've mostly been ignoring up until now. Weapon weight, rig types, and burden. This is a system that I think needs to be reworked entirely, as doing so would enable all characters to use all weapons in a balanced way. Currently, your weight capacity is determined by your rig. You start the game with the standard rig, which can only hold 13.2 kilograms. The surplus weapons each weigh about 3.5 kilos. So, with the starting setup, you begin each raid with about 50% burden. Once you hit 100% burden, you become overburdened and suffer a movement acceleration penalty. I don't think this affects your maximum speed. Getting bigger rigs or better rig parts upgrades your weight capacity, enabling you to carry heavier guns and pick up more stuff without being overburdened. The largest rigs and the largest weapons are restricted to the slower characters. This is dumb. Getting a bigger backpack does not improve how much weight you can carry as a person. Weight capacity and burden should be tied to your character, not to your rig. Bigger rigs and bigger guns should weigh more and thus require a much larger percentage of a small character's capacity. Then exceeding that capacity during a raid should impose progressively more and more movement penalties. For example, Scav Girl should be able to use a heavy rifle and a heavy rig, but at the cost of having almost no weight left to take ammo and health into a raid. The rigs themselves do have weight, but most are almost negligible. The rack weighs less than a surplus weapon, so why can't Scav Girl carry it? Actually, I noticed something pretty weird about the overburden state. You can cancel it by bunny hopping. If you're overburdened and you chain together several sprint jumps back to back, afterwards your character will act like they're not overburdened anymore. If you then jump in place, the acceleration debuff comes back. This is for sure some kind of bug, but you can use it to mitigate the effects of being overburdened. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you all this is because some of the snipers are really, really heavy, and that affects the rankings a bit. Also, I just wanted to complain. I'm going to be using Old Man for the rest of this video because he's the fastest character that can use heavy rifles. I'm going to rank the heavy rifles first, then we'll revisit some normal rifles at the end as a comparison. None of the heavy rifles can be suppressed, which is an immediate demerit for the entire category. The NTW-20, a reward for Cull the Herd and Sniper Sweep quests, and the GM-6, awarded by Avenge the Fallen, Cybernetic Heist, and Freed from Shadows, are almost identical. Both fire 50 caliber rounds out of 5-round magazines and do 1,100 damage per shot. The tooltip inside the game says they do 800 damage. That's just wrong. The difference between them is that the GM6 can take a light and a laser and also only weighs 10.5 kilograms while the NTW-20 weighs 34, so the GM6 is the way to go. Their slow rate of fire makes these guns dubious at close range, but from long range they can be pretty effective, especially if you're far enough away. Enemies will be able to hear you but not see you, making it possible to snipe without giving away your position, even without a suppressor. Where these guns truly shine is ammo conservation. Firing 50 caliber rounds from these guns has like triple the cost, weight, and space efficiency of most other types of bullets. So, how do I rank these? This is specifically a sniper tier list, so I'm judging their relative effectiveness as snipers, and ignoring, for now, whether or not sniping is actually worth it at all in this game. To judge the snipers, I will be trying to complete the quest Enclave Strike, which requires that I kill 3 assaulters. Assaulters have 4,000 health, which in general is the most that any non-quest specific guy with a gun is likely to have. I'm sticking with the 5-point system, but for snipers the points are much more specific. I'm giving 1 point for being able to do 4,000 damage in a single headshot, 1 point for being able to do 4,000 damage in 1 mag's worth of non-headshots, 1 point for having a decent rate of single fire, 1 point for having access to other firing modes, and finally 1 point for a suppressor. The NTW-20 isn't bad, but it isn't good either. This run where I die with the NTW-20 is a great example of what not to do. I wasn't keeping enough distance from my targets, and I wasn't aiming for headshots. I could have pretty easily succeeded here had I played better. NTW-20 gets a C. Good damage, but very bad firing speed. Which means that the GM6 goes in C+ tier, for being basically the same gun but slightly better. As you can see, this run goes much smoother with proper distance and headshots. Next is the 36M anti-tank rifle, which you can only get for completing the quest Memento Part 3 or via the new gun repair system. Actually, I think you can get all these snipers from the new gun repair system. It takes a long-ass time. Anyway, this gun does 2,000 damage per shot, fires slightly faster, and has a 10-round magazine. So it's better, right? Well, no. Not really. Because this is the only gun that fires 20 by 105mm rounds. The damage per price and damage per volume are pretty good on this ammo type, but a box of 10 bullets weighs 4.4 kilograms, making this the least weight-efficient ammo in the game by a mile. And the gun itself weighs 54 kilograms. The insane weight of this gun and its ammo just make using it kind of not worth it. Can't pick up anything else besides the ammo. Plus, for some reason, firing this gun summons hunter-killers almost instantly, sometimes in just a single shot. This is also very inconvenient. I'm giving the anti-tank rifle a D. Good damage and even decent firing speed, but two different, distinct negative X factors. At least it's not entirely worthless, like the VKS Viclop, which in case you were wondering is in Z tier somewhere far below the bottom of this list. The last heavy rifle is the Scar, which is the only heavy rifle that can be fired in full auto. Takes 50 caliber rounds, but only does 300 damage per shot. Obviously, in real life, this gun does not fire 50 caliber bullets. The Forever Winter Scar is some weirdly blown up version. It starts with only an 8-round magazine, but it can be upgraded to 50. Magazine C is available for purchase at level 19, or you can kill Europans that carry a Scar to try to get it from them. The Scar is rather powerful at close range, but the lack of a silencer makes it dangerous to use, and it does much less damage per shot than the other heavy rifles. It also weighs less than the surplus weapons, for some dumb reason. Seriously, why can't Scav Girl use this? Recoil? Just give her worse weapon handling. Anyway, the Scar is not bad, but not really that great either as a sniper. Wait. What the fuck? Did that just... Hold on. This gun does 300 damage and they have 4,000 health. That means 50 caliber bullets do, at minimum, more than 13 times headshot damage. That's way better headshot damage than any other ammo type. Wait, so there's actually no reason at all to use the other heavy rifles. The Scar still hit kills in one headshot. Also, the Scar even has burst fire, which is super powerful on a sniper in this game, because all 3 bullets go to exactly the same spot. I take it back, this is an A. The Scar might actually be the best sniper in the whole game. I tried to find a brawler to test what the exact headshot damage multiplier is, but they do not seem to spawn at Scrapyard Nexus very much anymore, so I'll leave that to somebody else. Okay, now let's talk about if sniping is actually good or not. It's not. Sniping is bad in the Forever Winter. One of the largest reasons the sniping sucks is that you can only use up to a 4x scope. If this game had 8x and 16x scopes, sniping would be somewhat better. But even then, a lot of enemies don't spawn unless you get within a couple hundred feet of them, sometimes way less. Sniping especially sucks as a solo player, and this is mostly because no matter what it is that you're trying to accomplish by using a sniper rifle, that objective can probably be easier accomplished with some other weapon. Having a sniper on your team in multiplayer sessions can be useful. They provide overwatch and give you intel about enemy movements that you might not notice while in combat, plus they can do heavy damage to things without revealing themselves too badly. But a solo sniper has little choice but to bring a tac cam in order to stay alive in many situations. Because none of the heavy rifles can be silenced, you're broadcasting your location to basically the entire battlefield every time you fire. The only ways to deal with this are A, to switch positions constantly, which is very hard to do with the slow characters, B, tac cam and spin around in a circle after every time you shoot your gun, or C, bring a suppressed backup weapon to kill anyone that gets close to you. This issue does not exist with rifles that you can suppress, so let's go back and add some of those to the list as well. Starting with the SVD, which I believe recently had its headshot damage reduced alongside most other guns, at least against cyborgs. It seems like it does 6 times headshot damage to assaulters. I am not sure what it did before. In any case, the SVD cannot do 4,000 damage with a single headshot, or even with a full clip of body shots. So very sadly, the SVD gets a D. It should probably also be demoted from A tier on the small arms tier list as well. The R11 RS-ASS fires 308s, which are the one non-heavy rifle ammo that still does good headshot damage. It drops assaulters in 2 headshots, which is better than the SVD, and it means that it does 12 times headshot damage. So it seems like in general, cyborgs now take half the headshot damage that soldiers do. I'm putting this in C+. If you don't land any headshots, you could spend an entire clip without killing an assaulter. But you really should be aiming for the head anyway, so 12 times headshot damage is worth at least half an X Factor point. The SA-58 is basically the R11, but with a much bigger clip and additional firing modes. I take a lot of damage in this clip, but it's mostly because I tried to engage a large group of enemies who were not distracted and without a height advantage. The burst fire and suppressor on the SA-58 allowed me to still kill the enemies I wanted to kill before I ran off into the sunset. I'm giving this an A as a sniper. A+ even. Its only drawback is that it takes 2 headshots to kill. And now here is where we face the sad reality. If I throw all of the remaining rifles that can take a 4x scope and a suppressor on this list, they just all go in A tier. All of them. The AK, the RPK, the M4, even the G36. Because the only thing that they lack as snipers is the ability to kill in a single headshot. But who cares? Being able to do that isn't that important, and I could not find a way to make this list without the inevitable conclusion that sniper rifles are mostly shit. While I was preparing for this video, I was trying to figure out if there's anything that sniper rifles are actually good for. So I'll show you like the only 2 things that I discovered while sniping that I thought were fun. The best way to use a sniper is to shoot from a place where enemies just literally cannot get to you. There are spots like this in just about every level, but not always in useful locations. Scrapyard Nexus, on the other hand, has an amazing spot. If you use the jump pack to get up on the lip in this wall, then you jump up onto this thing. This spot is busted. Not even grenade launcher guys can do anything to you up here. Drones are the only thing that might pose a threat to you. But, like, it's the spot that's busted, not sniper rifles. You could go up here with just about any gun and kill as many people as you want, and they wouldn't really be able to do much to you. I also found that it is pretty fun to hunt the Red Baron with a sniper rifle. Enemies have a really hard time pathfinding to these ramparts above the hangar, so if you climb up on this thing, then you have a pretty good vantage point of the whole battlefield, although the smoke is kind of annoying. Enemies will eventually find their way to you, so watch your back, but you can slowly pick off the Red Baron's support troops from up here and then whittle them down without exposing yourself to too much danger. Remember though, I could have done this with a grenade launcher and been done in 4 shots. Sniper rifles suck. I hope they get buffed in the future, just like, in like multiple ways probably. More damage, faster rate of fire, give them like a suppressor that doesn't suppress the sound as much, you know what I mean? Like, they should still have some sort of suppressor, because otherwise it's just like, it's a liability. I also hope that they rework the burden system so that every character can use these guns just with some sort of drawback.